You got 16 people in there. Oh, you went live a little while ago. Hello. I think we're live. Okay, cool. Hey guys, what's happening? What
What's
happened?
how's it going?
Good. We were just as a family watching Clue. Tim Curry, Michael McKean, etc. Martin Mull, um, Christopher Lloyd. Fucking star-studded cast. Clue. And have you seen this film from 1984?
What is it? Sorry again.
Clue.
Clue. Oh yeah, of course, Clue. Duh.
Yeah, of course. The cast and the screenplay are incredible. It's like I'm really reminded every time I watch it. I'm like, this is very funny. Am I coming in too hot?
Coming in. No, the game is. So
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we're yeah. I mean, that was a class. I remember watching it, being like, oh, it's based on a board game.
Mm.
That's weird. And then like it was the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. And yeah, Tim Curry just steals the show. My God.
He's got that like comical leader of a group of morons thing. The whole movie, like he has that in Home Alone 2 as well, and Rocky Horror, and I mean pretty much everything. But yeah, Gloria was like glued to it. She was catching every small detail about who went through what passage, and I mean it was incredible. Like the extent to which she was able to track the whole thing. We actually went out today in search of just the regular board game, just the standard issue Clue. And
Yeah.
we went to like one of you ever in the mall see like fun and games or like puzzles and games or whatever. Like and Nina was like, we're not going there. They're going to be overpriced. Like we'll go to Five Below or something. And, like Five Below had like mini versions of it. Then
No.
we went to the overpriced place and it was like Goosebumps Clue and
Uh.
whatever Wednesday Clue. And we were like, no, we just want regular Clue. And there was one that was it was like Clue the Great Mystery or something. It was like a much more deluxe version of it. And then we went to like a retro toy store and they didn't have it. They just had knock. I was like, you can't fucking go to the mall and buy Clue in this day and age. I just couldn't believe it.
Couldn't go home and sleep with your wife. That's the greatest line like in cinema or
I'm
whatever.
gonna go home and sleep with my wife. I was thinking about. I was like, this is 1984 or 80. This was I think 85 actually. So this was 1 year after Spinal Tap. This is
Yeah,
during
and
the height of his
uh,
powers.
I know, seriously. Well, and didn't they do a thing where they actually played the different endings in different theaters at the time?
Yeah, the whole for those who don't know, it was they had three endings, and if you saw the movie in theaters, now well, of course this was before we were born, or like we were infants. But if you went to the theater, you got a random ending, and then when it came out on home video, you got the three endings.
Yeah.
Here's what happened. Here's what could have happened. Here's what really happened. But just I just think that the kind of the farce and the blocking and the performances and the comedy, it's just a very engaging movie. It's like a there's another Tim Curry comedy with a star-studded cast, John Landis movie called Oscar that was got terrible reviews at the time because it was Sylvester Stallone was the lead, and he probably shouldn't be in like a French farce because that's
Yeah.
basically what it was. But also hilarious. Also, there's a great moment where Marissa Tomei ends up like falling in love with Tim Curry, and she's like, "Come on, honey, let's get out of." She's like, "Come on, let's get out of here, baby." And Tim Curry goes, he goes, "Baby." This is so him. So when I was on here for the AVGN thing, which by the way I played that game all the way through, and fuck, it was boring.
Y-
Um,
Yeah, it didn't win you over on a
no,
playthrough. Like you had the
no,
controller in your hand, you got to play.
no. Everybody was right about like the older games were much better.
You see, like
Um,
I still haven't played the older games, so I don't even know what I'm
way
missing.
better.
But it seemed lame. Just by itself,
I
standing
mean, I think
alone.
those games came out like 10 years ago, and
Yeah.
they at the time it was like, oh, this feels overdue, like this little concept, but it felt like it was done as well as it reasonably could have been, and then like 10 years later, you're just doing it again, shittier. Anyway,
Yeah.
but at the time we said, hey, what about that Spirit Halloween game that came out? Maybe I could join again for that. So here we are. And I had a bunch of the ROMs. And there's I don't know, there's like 4 games. Like Haunted Halloween is the game series, and I think maybe Spirit Halloween adopted it. Is that what happened? I don't know exactly.
Yeah, I don't know the exact lore behind it, but there is, yeah, the Haunted Halloween, I think it's 85 and 86. And I think Spirit Halloween put its branding on this one and then released a beautiful orange NES cart.
Yeah.
So I mean, you can buy it for 60. I think it's out of stock, but you can go to Spirit Halloween and you can see the listing, and it's $60. Which you'd guess that probably that's what the AVGN game will go for
Right.
whenever that comes out.
It reminds me at first when I heard like Spirit Halloween has an NES game, I was like, oh, maybe it's like remember Grimace's birthday GBC game where it was just like 3 or 4 levels or something. It was
Yeah,
just for the novelty. And then I started playing the game. I played through a bit of this, and I was like, oh no, this is like a whole game. And it makes sense if it like somebody else actually developed it and then they adopted it.
yeah. I don't know how old exactly it is. I think it actually might be even from 2016, and then they rebranded it. But um, but yeah, well, I'll play. I've never played it. It seems high quality from what I can see. Um, RP Earthbound Mother Mondays, perhaps. Earthbound will return, Samurai Stacks. Don't worry. So I'm just gonna play that. So Frankie, you can, if there's anything interesting on the chat, you can
Yeah,
bring
I'm
it
looking
up.
through it now. So let's see. So I'll say that I saw one person said Beardy in the Hat. That I saw something that happens when we drop a new Cinemassacre commentary video, it brings out the general public or a more generalized public than who we get for standard issue videos. And there's always like it's like the more people you invite into the circle, the more like wrong and stupid everybody gets collectively. It's like a natural law.
Uh,
And there was it never I feel like in life in general or the internet in general, it doesn't normally get dumber than on Reddit. And
yes.
there was some comment that was like, my favorite piece of Red Cow lore is how these guys hate being called Beardy in the Hat. I was like,
Yep.
where did you get like no, we somebody left that comment, we thought it was funny. We started repeating it. A fan did a sitcom thing. We played it on the show. Like, what the fuck are you talking? It's such a minor thing, really, because it's just some dumbass. But there's just a lot of some dumbasses. There's a critical mass of some dumbasses.
Yeah. I mean, it's Dairy Theater. That's a nice
Oh yeah,
Stephen King reference.
and
Um.
apropos of today's release, right? Didn't that show just come out?
Oh yeah.
The
There we
HBO
go.
Max one.
Oh, here's Spirit. Oh, so they put the Spirit Halloween branding in here.
Yeah, at least in this little cold open.
Um. Yeah, I know. We immediately adopted the Beardy and the Hat thing with love, and it's like, fun fact. These
Like, what
guys
the
hate
fuck are you
it.
talking about? There's just so much stuff like that. Or enough stuff like that where I'm like, I really don't know where you get that from. Somebody said Beardo in the hat, or Deluded Reality said that. Come on, it's Beardy. Oh, yeah, he corrected himself right away. Somebody says the hat looking crazy in this angle. I'll tell you, one thing that's really funny to me is you just put on a silly hat, and I feel like it just diverts all the attention. Like if you wanted to kind of like I don't know, like corral the stupidity. I'm not talking about these people. These are very fine people
Yeah,
on
these
both
are
sides.
fine people on both sides.
But I think like again in the general public, if you just kind of wanted to at least like I don't know concentrate the commentary, like just put a stupid thing on your head and see if see if that at least narrows the like the band of things that they could possibly say. Um,
I feel
50
like I'm playing as Stuttering Craig right now.
why Stutter and Craig?
I don't know. It's just the hat. I don't know. And it's just
Uh,
like the way his eyes look.
oh yeah, yeah. You can. I played a bit of this game. You can like swap out. You can swap to other characters at any time in order to because every character has full health. So it's sort of like the NES TMNT in that regard, where if you swap a character, you're back to full health until all your characters are dead.
Um, yeah, this gives
Um,
me very much River City Ransom
yeah,
vibes right now.
yeah. It's kind of like a beat 'em up platformer. It's a good little NES game actually. I mean, especially in the wake of the AVGN one, which like did nothing interesting. And technically wasn't an NES game. I'm still I am morbidly curious to what they did. Can you play this game? This is Ben. Can you only play this game on Nintendo's that go out of business and close down for a few months before Halloween? That's funny. It was. Yeah, I gotta tell you, like seeing Spirit Halloween cannibalize Joanne Fabrics this year hit a little bit different.
Yeah, that was like so apropos, and it's just like even just seeing like people mostly buying costumes like nowadays. Yeah, when
Because
he
replacing a great Halloween store with a not great Halloween store. I'm kind of out of love with Spirit Halloween. When they first started popping up, I was like, oh cool, I like Halloween. This is Halloween, and I've kind of like I don't know. It's become the fast food of Halloween, and I don't like it.
yeah, I mean you think oh, how do you do
You're like dying.
the yeah, because I remember my mom would buy those like patterns, and we would buy like felt from Walmart and use the patterns to like make like a Native American costume, which we're not allowed to wear anymore either. I guess.
Right. Yeah, we I'm glad that we did. I mean, I think we ended up doing like 3 Junt's carts there. Somehow it never feels like enough. Somehow it
Ooh,
feels like you should have done more Junt's
okay, what's
carts.
that? Do I not have a?
Yeah, that's
This
how you do it. And then there's I don't know how much you were able to pay attention to how many moves you have. You have a shitload of moves.
yeah.
Like it's actually a little overwhelming how many
It
moves you
doesn't seem
have.
like I have them all unlocked yet.
Oh
So
yeah, I think maybe yeah, no, you're totally right. At the end of levels, you can choose which new moves you'd like to
okay.
unlock. That's
That's
how
what
it
I
works.
was kind of confused because I was like, oh, I thought they told me, and I probably missed some
Right.
dialogue where it's like you don't have these moves yet.
It's kind of interesting aesthetically, isn't it? Because they manage the number of colors on screen to be constrained to the NES's limitations, but I feel like they figured out kind of a cool little way to manage it here.
Oh, candy, piece of candy.
Piece of candy. Yeah, the candy corn, which in my opinion is overly hated.
Yeah. Oh,
Um,
yeah. Absolutely, it's
it's just
overhated.
sugar, guys. Like whatever. It's
Yeah,
not.
it's
It's
good.
not. It's not black licorice for fuck's sake.
Uh,
Um, we have 57 people watching, by the way. That's pretty good.
we got a super chat from Wild World. It's cool to see both of you gents live. Hope you have
Hey,
a great evening. Cheers, Wild World. Thank you for the super
hey,
chat.
thank you. Let's see. There was a few things, quite a few questions. Let me see if I can get to them. I'll try to answer them quickly. Now I'm scrolling through.
Oh,
Hey, Big
yeah.
Sleep. Oh yeah, good. Hey, Big Sleep. Um, so 90 Day Fiance said, "Do y'all decorate the house and yard for Halloween? The decor animatronics are getting crazy." So there's a guy down the street from me named Mike who I've mentioned before on various content, and he does a big lawn animatronic thing every year. We have a couple. We have this little Frankenstein that goes like, "Who's that knocking at my door? Go away!" He just does that. And Gloria insisted that we put like some lawn ornaments up today, so we did that. But Mike is going insane, and I was at his house yesterday for a while. He was showing me like, here's how this fog machine works, and here's this,
Oh, it's
20
awesome.
foot tall Grim Reaper and all this cool shit. And I was like, you know what I'm gonna do, Mike? Like official, like next year, I'm gonna show up in like September 1st. I'm gonna
Oh,
shoot a I'm gonna shoot a time lapse of all this stuff going up. We're gonna make a documentary about this whole thing.
that's a great idea. That's
Yep.
awesome.
We're gonna call it Mr. Halloween because that was his old nickname.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Right. And it's gonna be about the neighborhood guy who has a big Halloween thing, and like we're gonna make it great. Um, I might even because it's kind of a big project. I might forego like a Halloween box mac or whatever giant AI project I do next year. Maybe I'll forego that.
Yeah, do not riddle that guy's video with AI, please.
Well, I feel like I have to. Somebody was like, "Is this going to be an every?" I hope that this isn't an every time thing. I'm like, "Well, not every video is fucking fantasy animations, so no, probably not." It's crazy how many NES games are still being made. You can only play it for real. Great time for homebrews. Frankie is normal size. I like it when because I'm not teeny tiny like last time. Metal Dad. Frankie, did you or Gloria enjoy the Wallace and Gromit VHS trilogy? I said yes, yes. It's a proud member of my collection now. Thank you, and we love Wallace and Gromit. We never reviewed it on the show, but we watched that most recent movie that they made. It was great. I think it's really cool that those dudes they seem to have like a Netflix agreement. My Clint Eastwood era. I thought the hat was like a Snapchat filter or something on first viewing. It's like what you said about haircuts, Frankie. They're just like change. Yeah, somebody was like, or there was an old video where I said like, oh, James should have like slowly introduced a hat at some point or something, to kind of like get ahead of the balding. And they were like, is that what you're doing? And I'm like, well, not consciously, but I guess it could work out that way. Like I could go bald under this thing, and that would save me. Frankie, no time. I don't know what that was in reference to. You guys, the B&B video is excellent. Thank you, Power Tip. I'm a little butthurt about the minority of people on that video that just couldn't get over the AI thing. I think it was I'm considering. I don't know. I in earnestness, I actually don't know where I would find the time to do this because we're about to do a To Boldly Flee video, and my whole life has been about To Boldly Flee for the past few days. But I've been considering doing a video that's like, hey. A lot of you thought that this was a cool use of AI animation, and some of you didn't. And I want to like walk through how it was done, what my decision making, how I walked through each decision, and the different kinds of usage and ones that I like acknowledge are different and controversial, and just kind of like walk through it. But at the same time, I feel like talking more about it. I don't know. Like it's one of those it's like politics or anything or religion or anything else where like when you bring it up, everybody's IQ plummets. It seems like.
Absolutely.
Have you noticed this?
Yeah,
Frank, yeah.
I think having that kind of video would be really fun. Just even just your thought process. I know like still people will still be butthurt, but what are you gonna do? At least you'll be.
Well, I have thought like well thought out ethics on the topic actually, and I feel like when it comes to AI, I'm kind of a moderate. There was I've been debating a particular person in our Discord about it, and it got tiresome. It went on for days, and I was like, look, I think you're kind of like being extreme about this, and he was like, well, I think you're extreme about it, and I was like, but I'm not. I'm a moderate. I'm like actually kind of like in the middle on. Like I share a lot of your concerns actually. It's just that when you're extreme on a topic, then anybody who's not extreme with you is extreme to you. You see how that works?
See, it's a me. Fabio had a $4.99 super chat in British money. Hey Frankie and EJ, I hope you're all good. Frankie, are you playing Chim Pokemon ZA? EJ still hasn't. I don't know where to go. EJ still hasn't caught Donkey Trong or Shoe. Shoe.
Donkeytron, shoo! I would love
I,
to play it.
I've
Yeah, go ahead.
well, I've been playing Pokemon Legends ZA, and it does seem like people are like shitting on that game just the shit. And as that's I stole that from Jason. He's like, I think they're shitting on it just the shit. It's coming from Jason, which is funny. But yeah, the it's good. I think it's a really fun game. It does look like a GameCube game. Like there is something about the like lack of ambition in the graphics that is a little insulting. That it's like, okay, you couldn't even do a little bit here, but the gameplay is really fun. Actually, I think Gloria would like that game. But
Yeah, but she only just started playing Violet, so
once she gets done with that one, but yeah, I think it's really fun.
But I mean, we all have we accepted long ago, right? That like Nintendo doesn't play the graphics game. Although maybe it's like that decision for them to not go all in on graphics is kind of like resurfacing when they charge an extra $10 to $20 for a retail game. It's like, okay, well, fuck you. You're gonna charge more than anybody for your games, and they're gonna have the weakest graphics. But I hear you. That's cool. I remember during the N64 era, I was curious. I thought it was really curious that Pokemon didn't have a 3D first person kind of game. I thought it was weird that like, oh, the game only Game Boy has like the official games, and then you know Stadium and Snap are all we get on the N64. I thought that was weird.
Yeah, it was weird at the time, but like I think they really wanted to hype up the trading aspect, and I guess that was like slightly harder on the systems, I guess, before the internet.
So
But
John
yeah,
Kratz also gave us $2. He said the AI was cool. You softened my stance. Oh, that's good.
that's good.
You've been very cool about it since the beginning, John. And actually, I think probably we have the same exact views on it. Wild Worlds. I'll add. I'll say. I think that the in that video, the creature animations I stand by firmly. I think that that is a really excellent. Because I think that they integrate well with the audio and sound and kind of like, the human elements and really only that one element in the frame is being animated, and it's achieving something that would be basically like we would not have achieved otherwise. You just see us rolling dice and talking otherwise, and I as an editor I wanted to kind of bring it to life. The people who think like, oh, I didn't like the credits where you parodied Lord of the Rings, or I didn't like when you went like full screen with it for like the castle, for instance, like I get that, like I can I went more back and forth on those things, but ultimately I felt like by the time in the video you got to that, like you were either puking about the AI or you weren't, and you could like either take it or not, like you were gonna oppose it or not. So, Wild World gave us another $5 of some kind, British, I think. Yes. Man, I'm so hyped for the Boldly Flea video. I watched the Suburban Night video review twice. Well, that's nice.
That's
Did
all.
you
Yeah,
have you seen the movie yet, EJ?
I have not. Well, I want to really
Okay.
freshen my mind, so I'm kind of savoring it. So I'll.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Also, I'll probably do a nice like workout session where I get out most of it, and then yeah, watch the rest of it. Um,
Yeah. It's 3.5 hours, dude. So just know that.
I'll get a 3 hour workout.
Yeah, it's long. And I, you're it would be unreasonable to expect you to watch any supplementary material, but yeah, there is an hour and 15-minute making of, and there is, other like there's a Quentin reviews that I rewatched that one's only like 40 minutes, and um it's so fucking petty. I'll talk
Oh,
about it.
is
I don't
it?
want to ruin anything.
Uh,
He
um,
hates Doug. That dude
yeah.
hates Doug. And I imagine Flower Gothic does too.
So far I'm liking this game. It's definitely unique.
It's
I like
cool.
it how it kind of has like that like Donkey Kong Country isometric-ish look, but it's in two like the 8-bit. It's
Yeah.
pretty interesting. Pretty interesting actually.
The boss battles are cool too. It's fair, it feels like. It's cool.
Uh, like this definitely like it feels more like a unique experience than the 8-bit AVGN so far.
I first heard about it from Mark, our friend Mark there.
Oh,
One
that's
of his
cool.
one of his I almost said Snapchat. Is Snapchat even a thing anymore? Um it was on one of his Instagram reels and was like,
Oh
"Did you know that this year the Spirit Halloween has many I love his videos. I'm not making fun of him. That's just his voice. I invited a bunch of my friends over to have a Goosebumps party. I was passing out the books, and we all read Goosebumps out loud. I really enjoy doing it with friends around Halloween time.
I love that man.
Oh, he's great. He's
Love
great.
his slimed house.
Have you all seen the Spirit Halloween movie? Christopher Lloyd is in it. Yeah, well, Christopher Lloyd, I think, is in the opening. Like, he's in like the first. He's like Marty, and that's just it. Yeah, I tried a few years ago to watch it with Gloria, and that was a mistake. It was a little too
Oh.
mature for Gloria, unfortunately, and so I didn't get to watch the whole thing. And I took her to a Spirit Halloween store yesterday, because she wanted to go, and she was shitting her pants, scared at
Oh,
the
right,
at the
wow.
animatronic. We had to leave.
Oh, I got him.
She was walking around the perimeter of the store, horrified. I was
Oh,
like, let's just leave." But you know what she
sorry.
loves is they sell those red blood splatter gels that you can put on the door, like the little
What?
decals you can put. She loves those.
Oh, wait. What happened?
Uh,
Oh, did I like game over somehow?
Tell me you've got. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh, did I press the wrong button?
Do you have a rewind enabled on this emulator?
Oh yeah, probably. What button is that usually?
Normally it's hotkey plus left trigger.
Up key plus left trigger.
No,
No.
no, no. Do you are you using a controller?
Let's see. Let's wait. Oh, there we go. Let's do. Can I do rewind here? There we go. Rewind.
Frank F says use your shinin. You want to get sued?
Okay, rewind. Let's see what happens.
Stuart
So
White says, "What are your favorite horror movies?" That's a great question. What? Well, not to like talk about James Gunn all the time, but actually, Slither is one of my favorites. I love Slither.
anyway, controls.
Oh, yeah,
Man,
EJ's gonna figure out his It'll be under hotkeys, I think.
Be under hotkeys. Let's see.
Like,
Settings. and
yeah. So then I think it would be then controls if that's around, and then hotkeys.
hotkeys. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. And then we want rewind. So keep going. There it is. Button 13, key backspace. So hotkey button 13. Hotkey backspace.
Okay, let's just do backspace.
Watch us use emulators.
I know how to use emulators. Let's see what we got here.
Samurai Stacks says, "Oh hell no, emulation." Well, EJ was considering playing this on a CRT. It's not like EJ doesn't have a CRT, motherfuckers. Oh. He's got some CRTs. Let me tell you.
How far can we? Is this? Like, am I not even going back?
No. No. Yeah, I think you are. It's just that like you've been in. Oh. And never mind.
All right, whatever. We're playing again.
We're playing again.
Speed run.
You like the Gun Superman movie? You think Warner Brothers selling will affect the new movies? Yeah. So, we heard that rumor, right? That like he might not make it much further, and I thought that was baseless or probably not substantiated by anything. And then I saw an interview with him just recently where he was like, "I do have a lot of these stories mapped out. Whether or not I'm the one to do them is a very big question." So like he threw some doubt on the idea that he's gonna have DC forever. It seems to me like it has been a not great business decision to go with James Gunn. I'm just saying. Matei frowns on anyone that doesn't eat McDonald's instead of grocery store bullshit.
Wait, hold start to skip the prologue.
Oh yeah, very nice $10 from Com Antilles. Any reasonable person watches that BoxMech video and understands the use of AI. It was really creative the way the game outlined the ingredients. You seem to have fun making it. Yeah, look, when I was making it, I was like, this deserves a fucking YouTube Emmy. I was like, this thing is. And then there was like the negative comments, not to like shine a lot of light on them, because they were the minority, and so like, what am I gonna do? Like, ignore all the positive reception. And it's like, it's a small video, like, it got fewer views than the our average podcast clips. It got like 3,000 views, so it was intended for people who might love it only. It's a niche audience, in other words. But the negative comments ranged from hey, like, really loved a lot of this, except I thought you over relied on AI in some ways. And I was like, okay, fair enough. I think that's like perfectly fair to say that. And then there were other people that were like, just like AI slop.
Yeah.
AI slop. And I think here's my theory about like the kind of just knee jerk AI, shall we say, I don't know, derangement syndrome. Or something. I saw some guy who was like, yeah, Frankie's been talking about some of his interest in AI on the podcast. Can't say I'm surprised he used it here. Some complete dick. It was like, wow. Please fuck off forever. Or some person was like, this is insane. This is truly insane. They were like, unsubbed, and it's really unfortunate because I love you and I've watched you for 10 years, but unsubbed. I was like, you got to be shitting me. So that just so my theory is that if no one knew what AI was, or like if we were 3 years ago and there was no Gen AI overtaking every industry, you wouldn't know. you,
No.
you, you certainly not the animation parts. You'd be like, oh, you guys did stop motion animation or whatever. Like you wouldn't have thought much about it. And I bet you like some percentage of the audience isn't really super familiar with AI like video generation and probably thought that too. And then the music, like I heard very little on the topic of the music because the music just kind of fit. Um,
Yeah.
and then what else? Oh, the title. So I had like critical and like mist and stuff. Those were instead of like animating those in After Effects, which I'm not good at. I had I had it generate stuff like I was like do anime inspired, make it purple or whatever. Um, with VO3 and put it on a green screen and I'll key it out. And so I didn't hear anybody say anything about the titles. Um, so yeah, I think that it really it's like it's not in many cases it wasn't like I don't like that you used AI. I think it was I don't like AI.
Yeah.
I think it's just like I just don't, it's like finding out that I don't know. To them it's like finding out that you are a racist or something. Really like,
Yeah.
oh man, I liked you and not anymore. Like they've
Yeah.
made it into like a cornerstone moral issue or something. And
Yeah.
I think they would defend that on the basis of like, well, because it's killing the environment, it'll kill jobs, it'll kill humanity as we know it.
Yeah.
Therefore, any advocacy for it, even for a low stakes macaroni and cheese comedy show with Dungeons and Dragons, even that, even under those circumstances, it's evil.
It's drinking our water. It's drinking our milkshake.
I saw some there was like some Reddit thread. I think it was like AI is not art, the subreddit.
Oh yeah.
One of the rules is you're not allowed to counter argue. Yeah, it's literally. It was like we don't want you to defend it. Like we're just here to bitch. And there was a lady who was like, "Y'all, we're fucking." They were in Des Moines, and they're like, we're out of water, motherfuckers, because people can't stop using Chat GPT. We're out of water. We've run out of water because of Chat GPT. And I was like, "Come on!" And I scrolled down to the replies. They all were like, "It's sad. I know. Fucking Chat GPT took the water." And I was like, and then I was like, what's going on? So I got to figure out, is there a water shortage in Des Moines? Yep. And I look into it more and I'm like, what's taking all the water? Well, I apparently, what was it? Something like 4 to 7% of the water supply there does go to data center. It has for a long time.
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yep.
data center, it's mostly Microsoft data centers. One thing about cooling a data center is that it doesn't have to be purified water. It doesn't have to be drinkable water. So that's a consideration. So I was like, all right, well then, like if there's a shortage, I don't think it doesn't sound like it's in the percentages that it would actually make an impact. So so I look into it more, and I'm like, what's really taking up all the water? You want to take a guess? What's taking up all the water?
Let's see. All the water. Crops.
Yeah, you're close. Certainly, farming is a huge part of it. But irrigating lawns is
Oh wow. Yeah.
is 40% of the water usage.
So I hope all these people. I'm sure people coming on Reddit don't have lawns. So.
Yeah, they're against that too, no doubt. But like, all things in proportion. And then what I found out for it's not that there's a short. I mean, there is a shortage, yes, but it's not because there's a shortage of water. It's because the amount of time it takes to purify drinkable water from when it gets farm polluted
Mm,
to being back in the water supply takes a longer time. Um, so the more farms you have, the bigger water problem you have naturally.
is this?
My understanding is that crypto mining was a way worse problem for this. Like it was insane the amount of CPU and heat. And again, I don't want to talk like AI has. So my understanding is that the data training, the model training takes
Oh,
up a
I pressed the wrong
shitload.
button.
Are you back to the fucking beginning of this?
I pressed the wrong. I was trying to create a save state. I loaded state.
Well, at least map the hotkey so the rewind
Okay.
works.
Okay, that's save state. Okay, I got it now.
Goodness gracious. Let's see what else we got here. So I just went on about AI and water for a while. Some of those are hot button issues. Let's see what people said. um, yeah, we talked about the gun Superman. Just watch Ernest Scared Stupid. Love Ernest Scared Stupid. Surprised you said Slither. Not one people mention here. Yeah, we'll talk more about horror movies in a second. Michael Rooker's great. Dunning-Kruger mentality in the comment section. Yeah, you're right, Commentillies. I think that I have found that not using AI very much is the leading cause of overly loving it and overly hating it. It'll lead to both. Jason, so is this going to be better or worse than the AVGN NES edition? So far, it's way better. Wouldn't you say, EJ?
It's leagues better, and I'm getting a lot of practice on the first level.
I think your wording on AI was the best I heard, where you hate CEOs using it to replace people, but also you hate the stigma against it. You worded it a lot better. Yeah, exactly. It's I mean, here's something that's really a problem with AI. Okay, that Stargate program, the government one, it's $400 billion that they're putting into that. 400 billion, EJ. What the fuck is
Wow,
400? What is $400 billion? What even is $400 billion?
I don't even know.
I mean, that's the big dig in Boston times
Oh
300.
yeah,
Times 300. It's fake money, is what it. And
yeah,
there's no way. So, like, when you're spending that kind of money into the technology, and you're selling it for $20 a month to people to make memes on TikTok. And I noticed like Sora 2 was aimed completely at memes.
right.
Um, it wasn't like, hey, use it professionally all that much. It was really like, here's, you can make Mr. Rogers talk to Martin Luther King, or that was
Yeah,
really what it
how
was
do they get
for.
away with like just using IPs? I know like he's like kind of a public figure, I guess, but like they were using like copyrighted stuff for these memes.
Total bullshit. And I think that, it's like everything is set up to be enshittified in a situation like that, where you're basically just trying to get everybody addicted to crack,
Yeah.
so that there's no. I think the companies are betting on like, okay, there'll just be so much venture capital in this. There'll be no turning back. We have no idea how we're going to do this with electricity. We have no idea. It's like it's like just throwing your hat over the fence and hoping for the best. And the best political argument for it is like, well, he who owns AI owns the world, and so we can't have China own it or whatever.
Right, right.
But I'm
It's
I'm
like an arms
personally not
race.
even convinced that he who owns AI owns the world. Not necessarily.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. I mean, it's yeah, but that's the whole arms race thing. It's like when I worked for a venture capital company, and they got like really jazzed about like NFTs for a second, and I was like, really NFTs? But I couldn't tell like maybe picture things
Yeah.
would be popular. My instinct was no, but they were sort of like there was a little bit of an NFT arms race where it's just like maybe it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't. I think it's true that like if you have this miracle technology, you're going to be ahead. But I also think there's no such thing as hoarding it. And also,
Yeah.
I think that like very successful agentic AI has to happen without human oversight for it to really take off. And I've not yet seen. And everybody's like, it's right around the corner. And maybe, I mean, like, I don't know, like video was shit a year ago,
Oh yeah.
as compared to now. So maybe, but
Yeah, it's
I'm
like
not
that.
yet seeing.
The
Yeah,
comparison recently was like, here's what like Will Smith looked like, yeah, like a couple years ago, and now
yep.
here's eating the spaghetti meme,
Mm-hmm.
and now this is what he looks like, and it's perfect.
Like my kid had her friends over yesterday, and they were all doing an art project. And I said, "Do you guys want it?" They wanted to play with clay and draw stuff, and I was like, "Do you guys want to bring your characters to life? We can take pictures of your drawings and take pictures of the clay creatures and have them say stuff and interact." And we were making like little stop motion animation movies out of their clay creatures. And it was so cool. It was like holy shit. And all I could think, I was like, man, this is like an obvious like $1 million idea for anybody who wants to have like a trash kids channel.
Oh yeah,
Um,
oh absolutely.
just have the kids make stuff in clay and then animate it to do and say stuff. Like you'll just cash in. Um,
Jeez, yeah, you're right. I mean,
yeah.
seriously, like if Matt like made his clay creatures and made them do stuff, like yeah, absolutely.
Matt, Matt told me that he spent 8 hours on those creatures, or maybe more. He said he worked very hard. He was exhausted from them, and one of the fun things was I didn't even know that he was bringing those to the table. You and I basically showed up to that shoot not knowing
Yeah, what a treat it was to just show up and have cool things to shoot.
Yeah, it was really cool. And I mean, as a guy shooting it, it must be fun to be like, oh, I get to shoot this and I get to shoot that, you know. Like I shoot the church service every Sunday. And last week they put a violinist up there. And it was like just really cool. I was like, oh, I get to shoot a violinist. This is gonna be fun. Like just a little something different than normal. But anyway, Matt, you might expect Matt to be like, wait, don't AI my creatures, bro. And no, he actually was like John. I'll tell you this, John more than me is pretty psyched about AI.
Yeah,
Likeable
he's been doing
John,
cool stuff
Mr.
with
Rogers
music.
John. You because you might think like I don't know, he's more temperate on that stuff, but I've known the guy for 25 years, and he has always been something like I would say like 30% artist, 70% technologist. Like he's been
Mhm.
more into technology and how it can factor in, and that's what has made us a good team. Is I'm more like 60% artist, 40%. No, I'm actually probably exactly like 70 artist, 30 technologist. But I still love technology, and he loves technology, so it's a good marriage. And of skills and proclivities. But he's been having the time of his life with Suno, which again I know people are grossed out by it. But like, here's what I want to say about it. John, when I first met him, um, I was 14 and he was 20. And one of the coolest things was he was like a really awesome pianist. And not just that, but he was writing his own music. It was one of the most exciting things about having, like an older friend who was talented. And that's what led to us making our, first movie was like, oh, we can make a musical. And he just stopped practicing after a while. The piano went out of tune. You know what I mean? Like he just kind of
Yeah,
let the whole thing go. And I was, and every time, there was a couple times we wrote some songs after that movie. And he wrote the whole score by hand to Abo. He never learned how to do, he was very James Rolfian and never learning new workflows for music. Um, he would always use this ancient MIDI program called Cakewalk, some ancient fucking version of it that it's shocking to me that it would even run on like Windows 10. Um,
yeah,
and he would hand animate it basically, the instrumentation, and it was just way too. At one point he did get a keyboard so he could at least like pipe it in, or like a, but it would be filled with flubs because he was not practiced, and so you'd have to hand correct all of it. It just took forever, and I think he fell out of love with making music,
yeah,
and then with this thing, he can bang out a flawed tune and he can write lyrics and he can hum a tune. And so he's been spending, sometimes upwards of like 14 cumulative hours on one song just trying to get like a generation just so. And he's writing like, I think exciting, cool music.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, it's kind of a way to unlock some roadblocks that normally would trip up a lot of creatives.
I think that's what people are missing. Or let me put it this way. I am a lot more open and permissive about independent creators using technology like this, and a lot less for big studios. I mean, like
Yeah,
I don't want to be paying $16 to go to the theater and the animation on screen came from an AI.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I'm more interested in the craftsmanship. But if I'm watching a YouTube video, I'm watching an independent creator or somebody who's, trying to put something together. It's like, yeah, use the commodity tools that are at your disposal, like you have always done.
yeah.
I feel like I'm missing the chat here because I'm just enjoying talking to you.
I know that's
Um,
the thing.
let's see. It looks like they're talking amongst themselves, so that's
they're they're annoying us.
people keep making the joke that my hat is getting bigger somehow. I like the idea, but no,
Is that
technically it's not.
that sounds like a joke from something? Like that sounds like a classic, like I don't know, Naked Gun gag, where something in every shot gets bigger.
Somebody Zachary Drass said, "For me personally, it's crazy how AI is replacing the arts before anything else." And I share that concern, which is, the promise of, flying cars and the future would have been like, oh, we won't have to do as much manual labor, or we won't have to toil as much, and we'll have time now to explore the arts and become artists and stuff. It's sort of like a perverse, reverse of the whole thing. But I would say I have not personally seen like oh, it's actually replacing the arts, right? Because I still think that the audience wants to see something that you that came from the human mind.
Hmm.
And then people get confused because they're like, oh well, if they want to see something that came from the human mind, then you can't have any generative AI in the product at all. To which I say, well, no, that's not how. At least in the filmmaking arts, um, like you get an actor, and that actor might not be perfect for the role, and you have takes, and then you
Yeah.
kind of like marry the best takes together, and so like there are in filmmaking, there's all these things that are out of your control, and then a director who is the orchestrator of the whole thing, the one who is going to be the ultimate judge of whether or not it fits the vision, tries to piece all the components together and generate. Again, you wouldn't want to do it like excessively, but you can bring in AI components and piece those together. I think also like when people say, "Well, it's not a creative tool because the algorithm's creating and not you." I think that that's like a really flawed premise. I think it's obviously a creative tool if anything that you can speak or think you can generate. So if I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, I want to see a red cow minotaur flex its butt cheeks, and I and I get that back, it's like, oh, okay, did it look the way I wanted it to look close enough? Can I make it work? Um, but because there's very little labor, there's very little personal craftsmanship or work that goes into achieving the butt cheeked red cow minotaur. It does mean that like the imagination needs to be a little bit more elevated. Like
I
it's not good
imagine this is
enough.
gonna. I imagine
Yeah.
this is gonna be a boon for previs work everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. I
Even
was
if like,
I was tempted to try to make like as much of Gnome Cave in AI as possible just for fun. Just to see if
I
like you can get
know. I think
some of
I
the
think
movie.
I think James was a little too hasty. He could have waited like a year or two, and he could make Gnome Cave. He could generate it.
So I don't know. I don't know how many of you share some of these thoughts, but I think like I said, I wrote a little thesis, like just a personal thesis to just for myself, basically. It'd be like, here are my values as it relates to this, and here's where I think, that was one example of like I think that you where before it's just cool that you're a good pianist. Well, now it's like, well, if you generate something that you like, now it means like, well, the music has to be elevated or the music has to do something more interesting. I definitely look. Let's just be real. Like, if you were an independent filmmaker and you were making a movie, um, like, are you really not gonna, if you have a budget of $10,000, are you really not gonna use Suno for on your score? Like, really? I mean, like, it was amazing to have wall to wall music in this thing, and I didn't have to worry about the copyright at all.
Yeah, stuff like that is going to be amazing for commercial work and things like that, which you don't really need to have complicated scores for, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was a. But that's another. If I may, just for one more moment, another big part of filmmaking is just responding to stimuli in the first place. When we went to shoot that, we had no intentions of using. I don't think I intended to use any AI on this project.
I
I just
we
wanted to make D&D. And
Yeah.
here's what happened. John sent me. He was like, "Oh, here's like a little theme that we could use," and it was that macaron chisarin of the flaming bowl. He had written. And I was like, "Well, that's really inspiring." And then I thought, "Oh, okay, maybe we could animate the figures," and then whatever. And then he kept sending me stuff. So then he sent me the Red Cow Minotaur song, and I was just laughing. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh well, how could I like make a visual sequence out of that? And now and I would use his shadow. He'd look all buff, and so in other words, you get inspired by I think that could be a really cool usage as well, which is just to iterate, respond, evolve what you're working on. Just by sometimes you're just like, I don't know, throw ideas at me, show me something that might give me an idea. And then like that partake of the cheese song, which is a really nice song, very Johnish. Um, one of our fans did a piano cover just on his own, and it's like, well, now we have a human song again. It's like I think it's cool. Gabriel Gonzalez says, "Hey guys, I've been loving all the new content. What are you drinking right now?" I'm just drinking good old Diet Pepsi. What about you, EJ?
I'm drinking what is this? It's a double rye. What is this place called? It's like let me think. Let's see, double rye. High West. It's High West Distillery, which is actually in Utah, which is kind of funny. Uh, I think it's near like Park City actually. And I remember going there, and they have like a lot of laws against, because of the Mormons. There's a lot of laws against like how much alcohol you can serve. Like the shots have
Mm.
to be like a certain amount and stuff like that. That's very interesting for that. But yeah, I love the Park City was great. What a great town.
Yeah, I went there once for Trauma Dance,
Yeah.
which is a great segue. I got an email from a fan yesterday. I was like, damn, the fans are awesome. Um, it was 36 minutes into it. He was like, "Do you know that Trauma Films, the official YouTube channel, just uploaded 'I Need to Lose 10 Pounds,' your first movie, to their channel?"
That's so wild. So
And I was like,
random.
"What?" And so, I mean, for those who don't know, um, obviously, I was a big Trauma fan when I was a kid, and I made a movie when I was a kid, and my only dream in the world was to get distributed by Trauma. Walk in the footsteps of Trey, and yeah, that's what it was all about. And then I went to Trauma Dance 2006. We won that festival, which was a big shock at the time. I won $1,000 worth of Kodak film. Um,
Oh wow.
I remember I sold it back to Emerson College because I wasn't gonna ever shoot on Kodak film, but it was like 16 millimeter color. And
It's amazing, you dinosaur.
dude, we're old now, man. Um,
It's like this is actually something people still use. I mean, they still must use it at least in some classes, right?
they do, yeah. They have I think they still have film one. I think they still call it that, which is shooting on black and white reversal. So the idea, for those who don't know, um, it runs through a mechanical 1950s camera, the kind that don't break and are made out of fucking iron. And it's crazy that they're still kicking those things, but they have no electronic components. It's just
Yeah.
light. It's just light shining on emulsion, and you have to learn how to spool it up, and you crank it when you film, and you got to measure the light and all that good stuff. What you see in the viewfinder isn't what it's going to look like, so you need to make sure
Yeah.
you're filming blind. That's what you're doing, and that's how the old films were made.
It's
Uh,
crazy. It really changes your perspective of things when you use one.
yep.
And like, yeah, just using the light meter and stuff like that, and yeah.
Yeah, I think that's why they've stuck with it. Is first of all, it's a helpful pedagogical tool, just to be like, all right, before we hand you all the cool stuff, before you're generating this stuff with AI,
Pretty much.
you have to shoot it on film. And then so with reversal, what that means is that literally the film that passes through the camera is the film that has the moving picture on it. And so you'll develop literally that split. So it's cheaper. So Coven was shot on reversal. Clerks was shot on black and white reversal. So it means that you're not filming something that then has a negative. So like normally like a 16 millimeter independent film would be shot on color negative. And then you get back in those days. I think it cost I think like $100 for 5 minutes of film. Basically, that's what you would have paid. So if you ran 5 minutes of footage, you just spent $100. Um, and then development was about as expensive. I remember for the reversal stuff, for the negative stuff, they would give you a digicam tape. It was like one of the highest quality analog. No, it was a digital. It was yeah, it was a little. It was bigger than a mini DV tape. I remember it was called DV Cam,
Right,
right?
right. Yeah.
Right. I think that's what it was. Um, but for the reversal class, you actually edited on a Steam Deck, and what that meant. So that was a big flatbed. You spool it up, and it's a projector. But you're editing on a projector, and you would you would find where the cut is, and you would splice it, and you would cut it, and there's a bin, and you would hang stuff up in the bin, and
Yeah.
that's where the fucking all the names come from: cutting and bin. Black and white reversal like Coven. Yeah, exactly. Coven is a black and white thriller movie.
Let's
Um,
see. Only Frankie could drop pedagogical so casually. We took a pedagogy class together, didn't
we
we?
did. Yeah, with Rob Sabal. Yeah, that was fun. You taught them how to what? After Effects?
I think After Effects, yeah.
And I taught them Encore CS6, how to make a Blu-ray, author a Blu-ray.
That feels very on brand for both of us.
Yeah, we because they were like, all right, like your final project for the class is teach us something. At the time, I got my MFA because I thought I was going to be a professor, and then I just found IT, and I was like, wait, this pays money. No way, confused Matthew, how's it going, sir? Confuse Matthew in the motherfucking chat. The hat is becoming the hat of my dreams. It's funny,
What?
man. When people hate me, like now they just talk about the hat. It's great. It's fantastic.
Somebody, I don't know if they're being serious or not. They're saying, "What's Spirit Halloween in America,
Hmm.
or at least in these Americas?" There's a store that you can buy costumes that usually pops up in like dead malls or dead stores, recently closed out stores, and it pops out only for the season, and it sells a bunch of cheap, not literally cheap. They're very expensive, but they're made cheaply Halloween costumes. You get it quick. There's usually a lot of branded characters. There's a lot of wigs. There's a lot of so if you need to get some Halloween costumes fast, you go there.
Yep. Yeah, $50 for a shitty Batman costume or something. But I over the years I've that we needed wigs or whatever. It's like you're gonna get them there. I miss pre-hat Frankie. Why, Shan? Why do you miss pre-hat Frankie? It's just a hat. It's
Oh
just a
man,
hat,
this is actually pretty brutal when you
and it's
get
just a
game over.
beard. Oh, are you dying a lot?
Yeah, when you get the game over, you do go to the title screen, which means I would have to memorize the password, but I'm just using save states. Now that
Um,
I've mastered the hotkeys.
Fun fact: Frankie sold the stock to his schoolmate Chris Nolan. You joke, but no, I didn't go to school with Christopher Nolan. But you know who I did go to school with? His producer Aaron. I can't remember his last name. I didn't go to school with him, but he went to Emerson. And I remember he was very close with the post production manager who's passed away now. His name is Pete Shivani. God rest his soul. He was a very interesting guy. He was like a very
Hmm.
aggressive. Um, he thought of he was like an old man, Pete, and he
Hmm.
thought he was like very, and maybe he was like very connected with Hollywood, and he would like talk a real tough game back then. This is a different time. It was 21 years ago. But I remember that guy Aaron. He brought him on campus a lot, and he had produced. I think he definitely produced Batman Begins, and he had produced a few other movies. He produced a really cool movie with David Duchovny called The TV Set. That was based on like what's his face? Who's the fucking director who made like 40-year-old virgin and stuff? Why can't I think of him? I get
Oh,
short term memory loss this time of year, this time of night.
yeah.
Um,
What's
Judd
his name?
Apatow.
Dad Avatar. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great movie actually. Have you seen The TV Set?
The TV set?
It's not a very common movie. People don't know it.
No, I haven't.
But it's a great movie about um a comedy writer who's trying to make a movie like about like his brother committed suicide in real life, and he's trying to make like a TV show that's kind of about that and about family and stuff. And the studio, it's very like early 2000s. The studio comes in and just perverts it. They just make it
Hmm.
it's the
Oh yeah.
completely turns it inside out, and it's very funny. It just kind of watching the concept devolve. What happened to Mike and Aaron? They still in Massachusetts? They are. I haven't talked to them in a really long time, but I need to. I hear that Mike is not well.
Oh
So
right.
yeah, I need to catch up with those guys. Um, I'm playing Spirit Halloween. Everyone be like, man, around the time Frankie started wearing the hat doing AI, he just changed. People will say, I mean, I don't know if they say that about me, but I've heard stuff like that where they're like, as of this arbitrary moment, these arbitrary things happened. People like just the human brain like likes to like make sense of shit. Um, it's a me. Fabio was talking about doing a Gnome Cave video game. Funny story about Gnome Cave. Um, because I've been talking about it over the last month. Gloria has heard about it. She's like, will you read that to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, maybe. I guess so. It's kind of for young adults." And she's like, "Can you just tell me what the story is?" She was like really in the mood for a story today. And I was like, "All right, let me see if I can do it." So Dante, and I start like telling the stupid story, and I get all the way up to he kills his friends, and she was like, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "This is scary. I don't like this anymore." She got like really bummed out and made me stop talking about Dante killing his friends. I was like, sorry. I don't know if any of you out there have kids, but one of the things my kid does is she'll hang on to anything that upsets her emotionally, and she'll keep it in her little pocket until about 8:30 at nighttime, and then she'll take it out and go, "Let's look at this," and obsess over this and make it hard to get to bed. Um, and my wife gets very uptight about it. Judd Apatow with Jake Kasdan as the director of the TV series. Yeah, Jake Kasdan directed it. That's right. But I'm saying that this guy Aaron produced it. Is what I'm saying. Do you need me to? Why don't you believe me? Do you need me to get his name? Um, no, not that. Bring this whole thing to a halt. Aaron Ryder. Aaron Ryder is the guy's name that went to Emerson. What else? He did Donnie Darko. He did The Prestige. He's a Chris Nolan guy.
Look at this parallax scrolling.
Now you're good. Just John Kratz gave me $2 just to tell me don't worry about it. I'll pay you to shut up. Confused Matthew says I both like and fear Hat Frankie. What's Confused Matthew, man? How you doing?
The legend.
The man, the myth. He's another one that like you know, the wrong opinion will really upset a person.
Yeah, and he's got a bag full.
He's like the Santa Claus of wrong opinions.
And that's why we love him, actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta, if you get enough L takes in your bag, you do deserve a little respect.
Yeah, I just think it's really fun. Well, because there's a centrifugal force that makes it so that people will repeat the same things on the internet, right? It's like an in-group thing, and then there's contrarians, right? And then that's kind of equally annoying because now you're just saying the opposite to get attention. But then there's the people who have honest L takes, and I'm just the most interested in them, you know.
I don't like this fucking fish. This is like whatever this ghost is.
Dude, they're still talking about the hat. The hat. This hat has magical powers, EJ. It's a Pavlovian hat response. EJ, you should stream the NES version of the AVGN 8-bit. I mean, I am kind of like morbidly curious when it comes out.
Yeah, I'll probably get it and see if how different it is. Yeah, might as well.
Is everybody looking forward to going back to work tomorrow? That'll be great, huh?
No,
can't fucking wait.
I've got like 2 shoots tomorrow, so I'm gonna be. It's gonna be a banger. It's gonna be a good way to start the week.
I'm still remote 3 out of 5, but apparently it's going to become 2 out of 5 in January, which is just devastating. Yeah. Even though it sounds pretty good compared to 5 out of 5, but
yeah, we're 3 out of 5, which is I mean, before COVID it was 5 out of 5. Yeah, it is crazy that whereas people are spoiled. They're like, oh, we have to go back 3. It's like, dude, do you remember just a few years ago?
Samurai Stacks is remembering the time on RCA where I did Nicolas Cage review being Sega Lord X. That's what it was. It was like, I love the parallax scrolling in the Spirit Halloween game.
Honestly,
Spirit Halloween on the Sega Genesis.
Honestly, Nick, it is really good.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that parallax for the NES. I got to tell you though, I think I understand everybody loves the NES, but I don't think it makes the best homebrews. I think if you're going to make a modern game and you want the kitsch of making it on a legacy console, I think the Genesis is your best bet.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of actually homebrew or whatever you call, like basically an indie game for that. Like that space year we just played. That was awesome.
Eartheon, yeah, that thing was fucking cool.
That was so good. That was like primo. That's why the 8-bit AVGN should have been 16-bit AVGN.
In fact, John Finger is in the chat and he edited that episode, that Eartheon one.
Right. That was good.
Somebody, yeah, he's an excellent editor, truly excellent. Somebody asked, this is a career question. Here, let me cough first. I think I have a small cold that my child gave me. That's just how it goes out there. Oh yeah, John Kratz says Genesis or SNES, but I don't see a lot of homebrew for and ROM hacks for the SNES. Not a ton for some reason. It seems like people favor the Genesis. Um, David Wagner said, "Any tips for a fellow person working in IT that's trying to get off the help desk?" Yeah, I think I have some advice for that. Figure out what. Well, I don't know if you're in like a if you're at an MSP or something, but hopefully you're at a help desk like at a medium-sized company where you can move inside that company. But I would say like determine decisively. Like don't be indecisive about this. Figure out what you want that elevated job to be. So, are you a networking person? Wouldn't be a bad idea. Networks are not going to go away. They're going to be they're software delivered and they're whatever, but they're not going to. Everybody needs to connect to the internet, so you'll always need network engineers, at least for the foreseeable future. Are you a sysadmin? Are you an endpoint admin? Are you DevOps? Are you whatever? Like figure out what that is and create like act as really what your boss should be doing is figuring out a professional development plan for you, but figure out your own professional development plan. Is it cybersecurity? Right? Is it AI? Is whatever. And I would get like whatever the most broadly recognized certifications are in that area, and I would ask for time shadowing the people whose jobs you want. Like become basically their juniors. So if there's like, for instance, a sysadmin in your organization, see if you can be, hey, what would it look like for me to have a little bit of more access and to help you as a junior, right? And so if you do something like that, then when a job eventually vacates, they're going to go, oh, David already does all that. But what you can't do is like, it can't just be your goal to get off of help desk. It needs to be your goal to be like, I'm going to move into telecom or infrastructure or whatever. I hope that's helpful. Jason717 says, how about how to get on the help desk? Can you tell me more? Like, are you just trying to get into IT generally? And, hit me with your IT career questions, everybody.
I don't know. I just applied to my school's help desk and I got the job because I knew how to work a computer.
Yeah, well, getting a student job is obviously a simpler, but it can be. Yeah, I mean, my understanding is that the job market for entry level is very fucking hard right now.
Yeah,
Because you don't have if you're applying for an entry level job, you don't belong to a pre-existing professional network of people who know one another, and so your only answer is to apply to 300 jobs online, and the online job application process is not there to help you get a job. It's there to prevent you. It's there to prevent you from getting a job. It's there to gatekeep you. Most of the time, they promote internally, or recruiters help them, or whatever. What they don't want is an applicant pool of 300 people. They'd rather have an applicant pool of 0 and then just work with a recruiter to find the right person. Nobody's going to work through 300 applicants, right? So entry level is really hard. Whereas if you were in like, I don't know, like leadership or something, well, that requires a certain set of skills, and by that point in your career, you should probably have a bunch of certs and a bunch of like proven track record that you're competing on. Yeah, Jason says, oh, good. Ben White says, very helpful. That's good. Jason717 says, yes, he's just trying to get into IT. Well, it should be reasonably. I mean, I think it's a good question. Like, if you just wanted, I don't know, like a basic entry level help desk job just to start, what would I do? I'd probably get a CompTIA, Network Plus, or ITIL certification. One of those, probably. ITIL would actually be pretty impressive. That means the person actually cares about service. A lot of times, when I hire for entry level help desk, I'm looking for somebody who's more service oriented than they are like a computer whiz. I mean, computer whizzes, you're looking for somebody with broad experience that can help in a variety of really what we're looking for is somebody who can make a user happy without necessarily doing a tremendous amount of work.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, when I worked help desk, there's like common problems that you get trained pretty quickly how to solve,
yeah,
and
like
so
we'll just
really,
train you on that.
yeah, really the best people are the people who are more service oriented because you can learn a lot of the stuff, the technical stuff pretty easily.
Yeah,
At least those common problems.
yeah. David says I like networking. I got the CCNA, sir. Oh, good. That's the Cisco one. That's good. If yeah, I think when I'm hiring a networking person, normally honestly, when I'm hiring anybody, but whenever I'm interviewing people who are in a higher level position, I normally ask them to describe a project to me that you've done in the last 2 years or so. It should be fairly recent. So they're not reaching back. 10 years ago, I used to work, and now I haven't really worked much. In the last 2 years, that was kind of like that tested your skills, that was in depth and made a big impact. Tell me what went well about it, and tell me what didn't go well about it, and you would do differently in the future. And then they have to reach. They have to think about what would that project be. And I know you're all in the chat going, "Ooh, if I got asked that question, what project would I say?" But it's a broad question, and I think it's like strictly applicable to any job. And then when they start going, okay, 2 years ago I did a 365 migration for this company, and I'll be like, oh, how many customers, or how many people were you migrating? And they'll go, I don't really know. Somebody else did all that. And I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
you didn't do the migration, right? Or the 50? Oh, okay. So it was a small company. Yeah. Okay. So then were you really hands on with it? So like just those little questions will kind of get to the truth of whether or not they worked on the project at all.
Right.
Did it quit on you again?
Yeah, I gotta load a state.
Something is happening.
What? No, I just loaded a state wrong. Let's see. Save states. Load state. No, I want the other. No, I want change. Okay.
Oh, I also want to
Wait
say,
for it.
when you set up your resumes for any of you, um, describe your accomplishments at your jobs more so than your job responsibilities.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
yeah,
I I definitely when I'm doing like reviews and I always make sure to have a list of all of my accomplishments even for the year.
yeah. Did you
And
save anybody any money? Did you like what? Yeah, you're a videographer and editor, right? Well,
yeah,
well,
easy.
cool. Did you tread water and just do whatever you were told, or did you take initiative? Did you what's a baseline amount of videos to produce for a bank in a year? And did you exceed that? Did you how did it actually help the bank what you did, right? Like that's what I would be trying to figure out. Um you want to know, like, is this person gonna return the investment of their salary? That's really the question. That's really what everybody's after. Confused Matthew. All right, question. You're given a blank check by a major studio to make any movie or work on any project you want. What do you make? I mean, any idea I've ever had for an original film, I've just made at
Yeah,
this
yeah,
point.
yeah.
Um, but if it was an IP, I think it'd be Power Rangers. Yeah, I would just do a
Oh
Power Rangers
yeah,
movie.
baby.
Yeah, I would kill it. I think. I wouldn't want to do Toxic Avenger though, by the way, because I think it's too confusing.
See, Gabriel Gonzalez says, "How did Frankie go from film to IT work, and how did EJ go from engineering to video work?" Did I get that right? And thank you for the $10.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you so much. You want to go first, EJ?
Well, mine's simple in some ways. So I graduated from undergrad in 2008 with a electrical engineering degree. I got a job pretty quickly at a wire factory. I kind of hated it. It was just like I just didn't feel like I could get a lot out of the job, or I could really. Um, I just couldn't get a handle on it. I don't know how to explain it. It's just like my brain couldn't quite get a handle on it. But then the economic downturn came along, and like so cars stopped buying like The Wire, like the government contracts were drying up, and so they laid off a bunch of people. So I got laid off with that, and so I couldn't get a job because of the economic downturn. So I was like, oh, what do I do? So I started doing like animations in my spare time, and I'm like, oh, maybe I could do something with this because I was just doing it and I was having some fun with it. So I was learning Flash, and I got some like Flash internships back when Flash was actually something people wanted on their websites and like and things. Um, and I used a lot of that work to get into Emerson College because like, oh well, I'm really like, I feel like I have momentum with this animation thing. I was learning some like JavaScript action script at the time. That was the developing for Flash stuff that you'd want to learn. And so I was like, oh, maybe the like interactive media. I looked up a lot of colleges. Emerson College seemed cool, so I applied to that. And then when I got to the school, I was doing animations, I was doing stuff like that, but I definitely was like, I don't know, I like to take pictures, I like to carry around a camera, and then when you do that, people are like, hey, do you want to go to like on a shoot? And you'd be like, okay, you can film it. I'm like, okay. So it was kind of like, I don't know, yeah, you show up to a camera to enough places, people are going to ask you to shoot stuff. So I did that. And using a lot of the work I did at Emerson College, I got a job at Boston Globe. And it was actually a Flash developer job. And um, and then there was a video team, and I talked to them a lot because I was still in grad school at the time, and so I was like, oh yeah, I talked to them about equipment, about things and that, and they were like, oh wait, so you're in a film program and you're just like doing Flash animations? No, you should go over here. So then I got transferred to the video team, and then that's really the cliff notes of all that.
Yeah, I went to film school because I wanted to be a filmmaker. So that was 2004. And then I went to the job fair for students, like on my first day of move in with my parents. They made me go, and we walked by the little desk that said like, oh, you could work at the help desk. There was a little application you could fill out right there. They kind of My parents were like, you know computers, do it, and I was like, I don't really know computers. I was like, I don't think I'd do a very good job there. But I applied anyway, and then they called. It was so weird. They called me back the same day, and were like, "Can you come in for an interview?" And I was like, "Is this a scam?" Like, no, it's your own school. They just need to fill. And I was like, "Oh, I guess that's kind of cool. It's better than like being one of the people who like taps people into the buildings. Like some of those, or like working in the mailroom or something." I just knew I needed a job, and it was gonna pay. I think like 150 a week at that time. It was something like that. And that was
Oops.
helpful in
What?
2004. And we were borrowing a lot of money to go to school. Tuition was not as high at that time, but still, it was still I left school with 40,000 in debt, so not crazy, but not great. Um, but so I needed a little bit of money, and so I ended up saying yes, and they put me right on help desk, which at the time was unusual because normally like you start in the labs and you're basically just a lab babysitter. They put me on help desk, and I remember I was sitting next to this like 30-year-old guy who had went back to school, and he was answering the phones like a pro. And I was like, oh, this is really intimidating. And I had long hair, Kevin Smith hair at the time. And I remember for my first shift, I overslept, and I was
Oh,
like, oh no. And I had this greasy long hair, and I'm running.
oh.
There wasn't enough time to shower. And I remember my roommate he was like, just tell him you got mugged.
Got,
People were getting mugged in the common at that time.
I got
And
mugged. I'm late.
so I showed up, and they gave me a big lecture, and I was like, oh fuck this job. Like, what am I even doing? I had like a really bad first day, and there was this young woman named Ashley. She was like a senior, and she said like, oh come on, working in the help desk is great. We're all friends here. Like, you can totally do it. Do me a favor, just make it till Friday. Just till Friday, and then if you still hate it, you can quit. And I was like, all right. And she was like, I'll tell you, I'll train you. And I did it. And then I stuck around, and I got to know all the people, and it became kind of like a cool because otherwise the classes you were taking were like media studies and film production. But this was like, how to install network printers and how to use endpoint administration software to manage a lab. And, I was learning like hard IT skills basically. and it felt like a weird like internship where I could learn something real. And then they promoted me a couple times as a student, and then I went to Los Angeles thinking I was going to try to get a career in Los Angeles in the industry, and I hated it out there, which is well documented in my book. And more weight, the making of having fun up there and other filmmaking tales. Get it on paperback or hardcover on Amazon.com, or listen to it for free on the Red Cow website, or on YouTube. And I was like, okay, I want to go back to Boston, but I don't know what my job would be out there. Maybe they'd hire me as a temp or something at the help desk. And the guy who I had worked with, his name was Ben. I remember, like, I just went to go visit him, and he goes, he was like, "Hey, can you help out?" He was like a Texan guy. He goes, "Can you help out
yeah.
Julia over there around the lab?" I was like, dude, like I don't work here. He's like, "Actually, you do. I put you on the clock at 12." And I was like, "Oh, I work here," which is really really cool. And so I was a temp, and then they had a vacancy for somebody to manage the labs, like the actual lab administrator. And I did a good job with tickets, and so they said, okay, you can do that because we have this vacancy that we haven't been able to fill. And then once I learned how to manage like groups of computers, like large groups of computers, testing builds and both Mac and PC and everything. The network guys, I started to get to know the network guys who managed the data center, and everything was on prem back then. It was very very little cloud. And they said like, well, we're looking for somebody who like can be basically a junior sysadmin in the data center, who who doesn't want a ton of salary. At the time, I think it was like 60,000. For me, I was like, wow,
Wow, that's
60,000.
money.
Um, and I was by this, and the reason I really wanted a full time job there was because I wanted to get my MFA, which is where I met you. And so I got to go for free because there was like a tuition benefit thing. And then I was like on my last year, I was finishing Sexually Frank. That was the thesis. And I was thinking, I was like, okay, well, with my MFA, I'll be able to teach. So I think I'll probably go into like, I'll teach film. And then now I'm like a sysadmin. And then a year, and I remember I spoke to Nina about it, and she was like, I don't know, like you really want the stress of you want to like work on systems that are going down and all that stuff. And I was like, well, I figure it's a huge career step that like they have no business promoting me into that job. I'm not experienced.
Yeah.
It's a big job, and they're literally doing it because they know me, and that's it's kind of how you rise in rank in your job is people take a risk on you. Um, so I said either it works out and we make a little bit more money, or it doesn't work out and I quit in a year and I teach. And she's like, oh, that's a good way to think about it. So then I think what happened was because I am socially competent, and the same could not have been said for every sysadmin and network engineer. They were like, okay, you could be maybe a manager, like a network manager. So I was hands on and I was managing people. So it was the first time I got an opportunity to do that. Then the director, left and they hired me as director. So now I'm like one of the top dogs. I was like 27 by the time that happened.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then it was just really it all came together kind of fast, and it just got deeper and deeper. And then by that point, it's like, oh well, a few years by 2016, they were like, well, really, you should be leading, information security. So I think because you basically oversee all the servers, so you should be the security officer. Okay, well now I'm a cybersecurity professional. By 2019, I should probably get my CISSP. So now, so I just kept saying yes to stuff that I had no business saying yes to. And each time it just felt safe because it was in an environment that I had already been growing in. Not always safe though. I mean, there were because my bosses were turning over, and any minute a new boss could have come in and be like, "Wait, why did we hire this fucking guy to run the network?" But I never let that happen. I always was very conscientious, and but it's been a tough job, because I've overseen systems for basically 15 years now, and I've been at the institution for 21. And excuse me, I swear I have like a little bit of PTSD from this job, which sounds so dramatic. But what I mean by that is like every morning when I wake up, I check my email, and I'm checking it for outages, basically. I check it with a heart racing slightly that while I was sleeping, it all went down because it's happened before. And normally 1 or 2 nights a year, there's an all-nighter that involves some major disaster that's very scary, and like because there's just a shitload of technology. There's a lot of responsibility in it, so it's sometimes quite. And there's hiring, and there's performance management, and there's um, budget management, and just navigating the world of leadership and stuff. It's challenging, and then fitting in. So these can be very very long work days, and very intense work days. Um, but once I was able to work remotely, at least a few days a week, that changed things a lot. And but trying to fit in like Red Cow into it all is preposterous. Actually, it's
Yeah.
it's actually completely preposterous, but I do it.
Yeah, it's definitely something you got to fit in, and but it's definitely worth it. I think.
Yeah.
You hope.
Well,
I,
yeah, because otherwise your whole life is your job, and that can't be. And or your whole life is your family, which is good, but you need something for yourself. Otherwise, you become
yeah.
James. So it's like a the creative. It's people talk about a third place, right? Your creativity is your third place.
I mean, and for us, I mean, it's really how we like hang out and blow off steam too. Like a lot of my there's people like at my church, they have like book clubs and stuff. Like I'm not joining the freaking book clubs. This is my book club.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I found church, and I've been doing their media, and that's been a lot of fun. And just today they were talking about they're doing a school of the arts, and they want like a film teacher, and I was like, maybe I'll do that. That sounds fucking cool. Um, but they're talking about like an after school program, and I probably wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to fit that in. But like a Saturday morning, I would do it. And I tell you what, I could show up with the hat, and no one would say a thing.
The hat would be welcome. The hat stays on.
They all dress ostentatious over there. Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess my advice for people, well, the the advice that worked well for me was to say yes to opportunities when they arise. Like don't, and actually a couple of times during that timeline I just laid out, a couple of times I said no. Um, and the opportunity came back around a year later, and then I said yes that time. Um, and really, I should have just said yes the first time, because I think that unfortunately with jobs, if you stay at a place for a while, there's not really such a thing as just doing the same job forever.
Yeah,
Um,
it evolves, and of course the staff turns over, and you absorb some
yeah,
work, or it changes hands. Yeah, it's always gonna change.
yeah. So you either get a different job or you evolve in your current job. Like that's what, and I think you always have to be ahead of that. Basically, you have to like beat that to the punch. Um, and so certainly like if you see like the industry changing, like be the influencer at your company that like changes thing, that's ahead of that. I've talked to a lot of people though. I mean, I work in higher ed, and so and it's medium size and stuff, and so I've been able to like have a lot of influence. But I've spoken to a lot of people who say I work for a gigantic corporation and I'm kind of invisible there, and I have no influence, and I've never had to do that, so maybe that's terrible. But I think where like you can't grow at all. I don't know. I'd like to think that no matter what job I'm in, though, I would be talking to my boss about a professional development plan, like no matter what. Um,
By the way, this gaming stream is much more professional than the ABGN one.
yeah, sorry everybody. If this is, I don't know. Maybe you guys like this stuff. I don't know. Uh, Frankie to his pastor. Yeah, that sounds fucking fun. I'll do it. Yeah, I'll try not to swear to him. Confused man, I'll come to your state and I will work for you for free, but I demand you wear the hat at all times. Yeah, fair. Look, that's a given. Metal Dad. I was a designer at my job. Then I had to go back to the shop due to business downturn. Now tomorrow I have an interview for an estimating job at the place I work. John Kratz says, "Dress for the job you want." Frankie's ready to lasso cattle. They cannot stop talking about the hat. They can't do it. It's not possible for them.
No, it's on your head.
Like, look at it. I'm enjoying the deep conversation. That's good. I don't want to stress anybody out with work talk. But if you're anything like me, y'all have jobs, and it's like a big part of your life. Oh, this is cool. By the way, this scarecrow looks cool.
Yeah, this is like yeah, it's like a big old scarecrow. It's awesome. The bosses in this have been really cool.
Every time I see something like that, I often think I think that's cool as shit, which is from East. It's from Eastbound and Down. Danny McBride. It was in the first season. Stevie is like shirtless at the party for no reason, and it's just embarrassing. And he goes like, "Hey Kenny, I brought over your like demo reel. They made like a demo reel together of like all of his greatest hits." And he's like, "There's a big flat screen TV in that house. I'm thinking about having a big screening in this motherfucker." And Kenny Powers goes, "I think that's cool as shit." I think that all the time. Dale Gribble says, "I love the career talk. Man, I'm lame." Well, you're not lame, but maybe you're 40. Do you have advice for someone who has been fired, or what can you say about firing and stuff? Do you want to like flesh that out a little bit? What do you want to know? Like, do you want to know about like hiring a fired person, or like what would I think if somebody was fired, or do you want to talk about like what does it look like to fire somebody, or like what would you like to know? Johnny Late Night says, Frankie, you were going to college in Boston in 03 to 05. I was up there at that time. I wonder if we ever crossed paths. I was in Back Bay. Yeah, very good chance if you were in Back Bay. I was in college from 04 to 07. Yeah, I graduated a semester early because I did the Los Angeles program in the fall, and so I did like some summer classes to get ahead of it. Jason says, I don't know what I'm even looking for. It seems like the standards for being a developer 100x'd since AI. And it's hard to just stumble into something I don't have a foot in. Yeah, I get that for sure. Have you worked with temp agencies or recruiters? I think I've asked you this before, but I think that's a really good starting place. Like help get somebody to help place you, like as a temp job, and then you will have a foot in the door. Deluded reality. I'm the opposite. I get my work done and I can help with other tasks, no problem. But I'm not interested in constantly upgrading tech skills. I upgrade them after some time. Yeah, well, you gotta, unfortunately. Now Ant is lecturing Jason. Yo, Beardy in the Hat. Did you all ever try a long forgotten pizza place in Federal Hill called Bob and Timmy's? That place had the best grilled pizza of my life. No, I've never been there. There was a place called Upper Crust over on Beacon Hill that I used to go
Oh
to.
yeah, that place was good. Is it
Yeah.
still there?
If you want to hear a really disgusting story, I used to have a friend who was like, "Hey, did you know that like they always have leftover pizza at the end of the night and they throw it out unless you're just sitting there waiting for the leftover pizza, then they'll give it to you." And I was like, "No, let's go try that." And we basically sat outside of a dumpster. Um, and the guy was like, "Okay, guys, here you go." And it was like a I don't know, like a college thing. You get the fucking thrown out
Get some.
pizza.
You gotta just hang out by the dumpster for a while.
Exactly. This is and I think
And
maybe I don't know, they didn't like to do it with the homeless, but like with college kids, it was okay.
yeah, you know. Like,
John, oh my God, yes. Show us what it's like to fire someone, Frankie. Use us as an example, but don't go easy on him. Or use EJ as an example, but don't go easy on him. Um, I think coping with the situation and looking for a new job afterwards can hit hard in the ego, at least. Yeah, like, are you talking about like this is still Sithful Duck asking. I'm trying to figure out if anybody ever expounded on the question. Anyway, look, I think if I was laid off, it would be really hard. I think if I was fired for performance issues, that would be really, really hard. Um, but I think in either case, you probably have to, you have to tell yourself a story that at the end of the day, it was, you weren't producing value for the company in either case, right? Like that's basically, instead of making it about like I suck or I'm an asshole or I don't fit in anywhere, it's more like that company was trying to make money and I wasn't making money for that company. Like that, that removes yourself from it, I think. This by the way, this looks like Bart versus the Space Mutants, this part.
yeah, I was just thinking that
The
actually.
way it bounces. Yeah, so like that would I think maybe depersonalize it some. And then a layoff is an easy thing to explain on a resume. It happens to I don't know 47% of all people across the United States. Like 47% of people or something get laid off at some point. A firing, you have to reflect on it. Like you have to, it'd be like a breakup, right? You have to understand precisely what it is you could have done better, because you really can't repeat it. You can't be having a resume that has multiple terminations. And in my experience, firing, again, we're talking about like performance issue firing. It's not something that happens very easily. Like companies aren't like super stoked about firing people. It's a pain. So it would have, in theory, it would have meant that you were given clear expectations on what to do, and then you weren't able to meet them, um, or you weren't meeting your job description in some way. I think ideally, any manager who has to fire somebody would take a very like structured approach to it, where they would say, okay, like here's this behavior, I want to see it improve, or here's this low performance, I want to see it improve. But I'm about to run out of battery on my laptop. Let me plug in real quick.
Zombie apocalypse happens. What you doing? I don't know. It something like that makes me really think I should probably get some guns or a bomb shelter. But
And Nina's been shooting guns lately. She's gotten into it.
oh yeah, I was getting a kick from those photos. Those are awesome.
So yeah, so I think ideally they would have kind of walked you through it slowly, where ultimately it's like it's not we're just not able to make this work or something. But yeah, you got to understand it. Dude, John Kratz has just tossed us $2, $10, 10. This dude's just throwing you money, man.
Yeah, he's like a super fan, man, for both of us.
Did Jason ever respond to any of the lectures? Not yet. If nobody's verifying if you got fired, that's true. I've interviewed a lot of people who have been fired. Like a lot. Yeah, it's happened a bunch of times, and they never. I would say maybe 20% of the time they'll be like, I just want to be fully disclosive. I was terminated from that position. It was because of this performance problem I had. I've learned a lot from the experience. Right, I'm totally good with that. Especially like that happened with like a help desk guy one time, and I was like, okay, like everything else looks good, and you seem like you're really committed. And it was, again, it was a help desk job, so it wasn't like super high stakes. But then other ones, I figured it out.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, it's actually not hard to figure out. Like you will figure it out in the interview if you're asking good questions.
Right.
I guess if the lie was like I got laid off, I probably wouldn't be able to figure that out. They could lie and say they got laid off. But I tell you, checking references is very important.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
People are like, oh, you're just gonna call their friends and they're gonna say they're good. It's like,
No.
if that's the case, then they kind of they've cleared the easiest bar, which is you have friends and they said nice things about you. But there are people out there who don't have that, and so if they can't produce a list of people like that, I've seen that before. Where they simply can't produce a list of people for you to call, and they're like, oh, well, that fucking tells us something. I do something that is a little controversial. If it's a high level position, I need to speak to their current boss. And a lot of times, I don't want my boss to know until I'm giving notice. And like, I need to talk to your boss. Like I need to know. And normally, like, because I don't want to put them in a bad situation. It's like if I'm gonna offer them the job.
Yeah.
Or at least I got to talk to a boss, from the last year or something. But there have been times where I called the reference and they were like, "Oh yeah, John. Yeah, he fixed the computers." And I was like, "Tell me more." And they're like, "I can't." Like, "Oh, okay." Yeah.
You're not a real reference.
Yeah. You can totally ask questions that people will answer honestly. You'd be like, "So what kinds of things was John working on improving?" That's like there's no way out of that question.
Yeah.
He'd required none, no improvements. When are you going to invite Gil from One Take on the podcast? Well, that could be fun. Nina on her based arc. Um, I got a guy fired on Christmas Eve. They still gave him a gift card. That sounds sad. It certainly look. I mean, there's like a few things in my life that just I don't. I'm like, whenever that happens, it's just sad, no matter what the situation. Like even if
Yeah.
it was like well deserved, somebody losing their job, that's one such situation. It just sucks really badly. Um, I would say like somebody losing data that sucks really badly.
Oh, that's like a heartbreak in my case.
Yeah, like my response to the lecture is that weak-willed. I'm weak-willed and not good enough at developing to want to do it when there's no reward or a viable path I can see working. Yeah, but Jason, you're not hell bent on doing development work. Like I've heard you say you'll do IT support or you'll do like I don't know, like all wherever there's a job where you feel like you could fit, and that's why I say just go work with a temp agency and have them tell them what you're good at. Like what they'll do is they'll screen you and they'll be like, can this guy speak? Can this guy clean up? Can I show this guy to companies and not be totally embarrassed? And then they'll figure out where to put you, and then you just get a job any old place, and then see where you can go from there. I mean, that really, it's like if you talk to any job recruiter in the world, you know what they're going to tell? They're going to be like, please do everything you can to not be unemployed, because if you're employed, I can find you a job more easily. Because a lot of hiring managers don't want to hire unemployed people, unfortunately. They start poking holes in why you're unemployed.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, my advice is like, just get anything. Like, just whatever.
Oh, candy. Piece of candy.
Hey, data analytics is another one of those job types that's like, I don't know if it's going to be replaced by AI, but it's certainly going to be like AI will be a cornerstone technology in doing it. I mean, that's really, it seems like that's the case with AI. It's just like there's no, but like, I don't know, like in my organization, there's no AI right now that's not overseen by human beings. And I don't feel like we're anywhere close to AI that's not overseen by humans. What I do see is, well, I teach an AI workshop, and I'll often ask who here uses AI for like a variety of tasks on a daily basis. And normally, like a third of the room puts their hands up out of like 30 people. And then I'll say who here has like logged in and they've kind of used it and tried to, use ChatGPT for various things, but don't really understand how it could fit into their lives yet. And like most of the hands will go up. And then I'll say who here hates AI, and like some hands will go up. But most of most people are in the middle group where they're like, I don't really see how it fits into my life. And then if you shadow them, you sit with them and be like, hey, like let's try to write like a budget report, with some AI help. They really you can tell they don't know how to use it. You can tell that they don't know how to like collect sources and introduce the sources and then ask it and basically train it into producing something for you. And how to like fight its own biases, right? Because it's very sycophantic. It wants to, kiss your ass, and how to avoid all that stuff. So people don't know how to use. They don't know how to use it in the first place. But the people who are very effective at using it will be ahead, because they'll be able to get, if something used to take a week to write, it'll now take a day to write. And you do that with enough tasks, then a 5-person team only needs to be a 3-person team. So it's not that AI replaced the other 2 people. It's that AI productivity enhanced, made it so that the team didn't have to be as large. And technically, it replaced them, but I think replacement implies there's an agent that's literally taking the orders or whatever, right? And I understand there is some agentic AI that's it didn't Taco Bell do it, and it didn't work out very well.
Yeah, I do know that like people have used like AI for like law stuff, and that's gotten them in trouble because it's so sycophantic. You have to you have to really learn how to check its like sources and check all that stuff.
Yeah. My somebody said, a lot of hiring managers using AI to screen applicants. Yeah, that's for sure. And so I have 2 things to say about that. One is, again, it's like if if every applicant pool for every job is 500 applicants, then there's no applicant pool at all. It's just too fucking ridiculous. And so what it's going to mean is recruiters, like human recruiters and professional networks are going to be relied upon more than ever to cut through the noise. But I would also say, like, if you are in the online application world, then you should be using an AI tool to apply. I don't think you should be wasting your time doing it yourself if they're not taking the time to actually review you. I think
Yeah,
you
I
should.
do know that like in my job, they're expecting you to like at least start learning AI, start incorporating it into your work. Like that's a definitely whether or not that's gonna pass. That is an expectation is to learn it, is to use it and use it for some applications.
That's why
But
when people are really pissed off at it, or they get pissed off at me for using it in a mac and cheese comedy show, I'm like, well, look, I didn't invent the technology. First of all, I'm I didn't erect the data centers. I'm not siphoning the water from Des Moines. I'm not it. Okay. Well, yeah, but you used it to animate the Minotaur. Like, all right, and you fucking ate a burger, and animal agriculture is, a pretty big consumer of the environment too. But the question I kind of want to bottom line it with is like, what, especially if it's an artist, right? Artists are bratty about this stuff. I kind of want to bottom line it with like, what's your plan?
yeah,
What's your fucking plan?
especially if like an employer, or maybe they're not worried about being employed. I don't know. The your employer is probably going to expect you to know it and to
What's
incorporate
your
it some way.
fucking plan? What. Well, I'm gonna go on Reddit and bitch. That's what my plan is. I'm gonna go on Reddit and bitch. Like, okay, dude. Like, I think the reason that I'm more inclined to figure out how to use it for better effect is because I kind of subscribe to there's like some fallacy for this, like the fair world fallacy or something. I'm kind of like a fair world fallacy guy. I kind of feel like things do sort themselves out. I feel like when there's a risk or a threat in my life, I try to like incorporate like remedies against it
Yeah,
by um doing things besides tantruming. That's what I'm seeing is like tantrums, basically.
yeah.
Well, and the only reason a tantrum would be effective is if you actually thought you could shut down the usage, like you could ban it or completely prevent its use. That you'd have to be convinced that was possible. We got a $20 from JRob8420. Hey, Frankie and EJ, Red Cow member here. Cool. Not everybody's a YouTube member, but we opened that last year because we were hearing from some people that were like, I'd like to be a patron. I'd like to join the Discord. I'd like to listen to the full pod. But like I don't want to support Patreon, or I don't like Patreon or something, or Google's my jam. So all right, we'll open YouTube memberships, and for $2 people can go through that. I've worked at a help desk for 1 year in a network operations center for 3.5, but I need to leave because I make under $40,000 a year there. Yikes! That's well, maybe it's your area of the country, perhaps. But network operations is pretty good. Don't seem to even get interviews anymore. Any tips? Um, well, I've been following a lot of news about layoffs and job market shit lately. And yeah, again, like the entry level stuff seems hardest. But also because there's my understanding is that because there's economic uncertainty right now, a lot of companies are just really refusing to hire. Like there's just a lot of hiring freezes right now. And for that reason, a lot of people aren't vacating their jobs. So there's very little job mobility right now. So even though the unemployment rate remains like 4% or something, or 4.5%, if you happen to be one of the unlucky few in that 4.5%, you're you're gonna have a really hard time getting a job. Now it sounds like you're already employed, so that's good. I would keep that job. I would stick with it. It's not enough money right now, but whatever you do, don't don't lose the job in the meanwhile. I've seen some predictions that in like January it might pick. This time of year especially, like once you get into the holidays, people really stop hiring. And candidates often stop looking. So maybe you have an advantage. Maybe you could try to get one right now, right before the holidays or something, when people aren't looking as much. But I definitely wouldn't. My advice remains the same. If you find yourself applying to billions of jobs online, and you're like, shit, I'm not getting any bites, I'd be like, stop applying the jobs online. Just stop. It's like, I don't know. It's like online dating or something. It's like a meat market.
Yeah.
Like take yourself out of that game. And what you do instead is, so what happens when there's an economic downturn and nobody wants to hire? Well, companies might not want to hire, but that doesn't mean they don't need work to get done. And so the chances that they're hiring temps is very high, because they can use their OPEX basically to pay for some temporary help. And then the budget people are like, okay, good. We didn't commit to long-term salary or long-term, a lot of times it's like their fiscal year that they're looking after, and they don't want to commit to a full year of salary and benefits. And so they'll hire a temp for a couple months. And so if you go to a temp agency, and again, it was the advice I just gave Jason, and you interview with temp recruiters, they can try to place you in something that actually works. You can actually work with a human being to help you. Some of the big ones are like Robert Half or Franklin Fitch, or there's these, like, just search for like temp agency recruiters in my area. And another thing you can do, this is a kind of a hack, but like you can find a company you want to work at, and you can call their HR department and tell them like, hey, who do you work for? Who's your recruiter for temps? And they'll tell you maybe. And then you can actually reach out to them and be like, hey, I hear you work with this company I want to work with. I'm looking to get my foot in the door over there. So some of those, those are some interesting hacks.
That's too far back. I'm not doing that. By the way, there was Wild World gave 5 EJ Stream gift memberships, so a lot of so 5 people got free memberships from him.
How does it distribute?
I don't know, but they say a bunch of people got them. So I don't know exactly how that's distributed. That's really cool. Thank you so much, Wild World.
Wait, who's pissed at me for providing you with wholesome content? Let's Shanvor, some qualifications are necessary. They need some basic knowledge. Yeah, I mean, a lot of times, like, qualifications are almost more like proof that you can work in the first place. Because whatever you're actually going to be doing on the job is probably going to be a little bit specific to that job, and you'll require training anyway, but certainly the basics. What do you mean by what's your plan? Tobias, I'm saying, you don't understand what I'm saying by what's your plan? I'm saying that if you are an ideological, religious, anti-AI person, what's your plan for when AI inevitably encroaches on your job or is necessary in your field, especially if you're an artist? That's what I'm saying. Does that make sense? You can quit your job, be a job advice YouTuber, and get 1 million subscribers. Should I do it? Should I do it, Jason? Enough already. Enough with my current job. I'll just provide job advice until like 5 years in, and then like they'll be like, he hasn't worked in years. Hop says, I'd rather not maintain a Patreon account for the few creators I support that are still on it. Yeah, exactly. That's why we opened. That was cool. Shanvor, Frankie is going to edit the hell out of this video and call it Frankie's Career Corner featuring EJ. No, I will not be editing this.
This is going up wholesale on Red Cow Arcade.
Super Anthony, $2. Always build network and skills even while working. Yes, spot on. Never got anywhere with career fairs either, both white collar and blue collar ones. Yeah, career fairs can be good though. I mean, I don't know. I think it depends. Like, if it's in your field, it could be useful. Getting contract work is much easier than full-time jobs. Yeah, and then, but I mean, what's cool about contract work is then you can actually get to know the people there. J. Rob, thanks for the advice, Frankie. I did want to try an employment agency, but my health insurance and PTO was great. Yeah, well, right. These are tough decisions. I went directly to the company, sent resume, cover letter. They called me and told me how to apply. Yeah, look, it's hard out there. It's funny you're talking about jobs. This one's for Jason as well. I was thinking to teach myself video editing, and I have 0 experience. Wondering how you might teach yourself from 0. You need a project to work on. That's how you teach yourself video editing. So you start with like you shoot a bunch of stuff, and then you go, okay, now I want to edit it, and then you try, um, and I was look, I've this is a great application for something like Gemini or GPT, where you can be like, hey, so I've got my footage. You can screen grab it, and I've got my footage, and I'm looking to do this. Can you kind of walk me through, give me kind of like a guided tour of Adobe Premiere, and um, but certainly they have an amazing teaching and learning center. I think Premiere is super easy. Like this is not a difficult skill to
Yeah,
acquire.
and there's like millions of tutorials online. I know it's like hard to like figure out where to start. Honestly, you could probably just start with like whatever, like LinkedIn Learning, or it used to be lynda.com. I've done a ton of those courses and just systematically go through it, take what you want, and then actually start editing. And then when you come to a problem, yeah, Google the solution or talk to AI to figure it out.
Yeah, you know what I've noticed. Obviously, we've worked with a lot of editors for RCA at this point, and it's a mixed bag of experience. Um, I find anybody who kind of can't edit to our standards. That's happened a few times. It just kind of we say goodbye kind of early on. Thanks, but no thanks. And then the people who can, like, what makes them a good editor is not that they know the program, but they know how to creatively. They understand timing, they understand rhythm, they understand when to drop in a clip, how to like what's an you could drop in some irrelevant clip, right, or not quite the right clip, or there could be pregnant pauses before and after the clip unnecessarily. It's all this little stuff. Or maybe they don't understand like screen resolution very well. And so like they're taking screen grabs of like an article you're talking about, and it's like it's weird dimensions or whatever. So a lot of times most of the ones I've worked with are good editors that just to kind of like sync up with what I want. We've had to maybe like the first two edits or something, I give them like a ton of notes, and then that calibrates them, and then they do a great job from that point forward. But what remains a mixed bag sometimes is if maybe they're a good editor, they have a good internal clock, they understand how to use the program well, like they're good editors, but they haven't edited thousands of hours, right? And so they're good but slow, and the reason that can be a problem for them, less so for me, but for if they were gonna, this is editing some stupid YouTube channel, and they can quit anytime they want, and it's kind of pro bono in a way. Um, but if it was professional, the reason it's a problem is if there's two edits, right, one by John and one by Bob, and John's edit took him 2 hours, and Bob's edit took him 20 hours, and it's the same edit, right? It's like the guy who goes faster. So like speed matters more than skill, probably, if you're meeting deadlines. Like um, if you can do something to 80% quality and the other guy does it 100%, but he's way slower, you're going to pick the 80% guy, right? Especially for like a YouTube channel where there's a lot of output. So I'd say just experience, practice. Something that's been helpful about the occasional editor for RCA has, they're like trying to break in a little bit, and it's a low stakes environment where they can get some advice from us, and we can walk them through what a good edit looks like. And sometimes, so like that's essentially like a paid internship at that point. So maybe something like a paid internship could be good.
I just save scrubbed this guy. This guy is bullshit.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
All right, I think that's it. That's good enough for today.
Yeah, let me just see if there's anything else to be said. Will you teach me slob style? That sounds hot. Um, advice, stakes, is it supposed to no stakes, is it supposed to be bad? I don't know what that means. Seeing Beardy in the hat in such a casual setting is scarier. Are these the same freaks I watch on Red Cow Entertainment? Yes, it is. All right, guys. Yeah, there's 80 of you. How cool. Anything else, EJ? Is that it?
Let's see what I just want to see what happens here. Oh, then you fight Spirit Halloween Man.
You
Okay.
fight candy corn. Do you want to try to beat it?
I guess I'll try to beat it. Let's see what happens. I don't know.
All right,
Does
guys.
it?
What else are we talking about?
Oh, and then he turns it. Okay. Well, okay. Let me just try one more time.
Oh, thank you, Wild World. 10 pounds. A
Oh.
weakling weighing 10 pounds. Thanks for the stream. Oh, you know what? We're not leaving yet. You
Yeah,
gotta.
yeah. I spoke prematurely. I want to see if this is the boss. It does say Spear Halloween, and there it was the Spear Halloween man. So I want to see if it is something I can kill here.
I don't like oatmeal. I'm not gonna talk about my favorite oatmeal because I don't have one. Um, do you? Well, good night, big sleep. But we're not leaving. They're all saying goodbye. It's so sad that we're not leaving. um, who would win in a fight between Frankie and EJ? What the fuck, confused Matthew? Why would you ask me a question like that? I would never fight EJ. I would.
Yeah,
I would lightsaber down.
yeah. I'm a pacifist, so.
I would never do it. Frankie, do any of your slobs edit in Vegas? No, it's not allowed. You have to edit in Adobe Premiere. You have to edit in the program I'm editing in, so that because it's almost never the case that somebody delivers an edit that I don't touch up a little bit. Um, Confused Matthews in the chat. Yes, indeed. So, but I did just watch all of To Boldly Flee, and my understanding is that To Boldly Flee was edited in Vegas. I heard that. It's crazy, dude. Like To Boldly Flee. Um, I don't want to ruin anything.
Yeah, how about just a light what do you call it?
That's a song.
Preview. Yeah, a light preview for me.
Um, okay. Kickassia was like a self-contained kind of like a bunch of kids having fun making a movie, right? And it was kind of charming on that in that sense. By Suburban Nights, it's a bit more developed. There's multiple plot lines. It's 2 hours now, but it's clever. The jokes are decent. Um, and you start, between the two movies, you're like, damn, like Doug Walker, it's like there's some stuff he really cares about and some stuff he really doesn't care about.
Mm.
By this one, um, so it's clear that they wanted to shoot indoors because they didn't want the same problems as last time.
Yeah.
And the whole movie is shot in living rooms and dens and basements, in like dumpy houses. And yet the movie feels like an epic fucking crazy sci-fi action movie. It feels like suddenly those dumpy houses and dumpy rooms feel like government facilities and they feel like spaceships and and he's an incredible filmmaker. He's an incredible film, like, and if we were to inventory, like, what does he care about? Okay, well, he doesn't care about the performances, that's for sure, because they're terrible, but he does care about their cadence and their rhythm. Okay, he doesn't care about the camera quality or the color
Yeah.
profile or the lensing, but he does care about camera motion and the camera rhythm and the camera speed. For instance, like, he'll design a dolly shot or he'll design like a shot that trucks in, but he won't get a dolly, right? So
Yeah,
he's just doing it with his hands. But that camera motion really matters to him. Um, he doesn't care about getting clean dialogue audio, but he cares about like having comic sound design that works for the movie. And then above all, I would say he cares deeply about editing.
yeah.
It is one of the best things I've ever seen edited in my life. It's
Well,
what it,
that's the thing is like
yeah.
his editing rhythm is so like almost spot on, and like some of the sequences, especially like you think about Kick-Assia, some of those sequences are like he almost nails them, but he's using like the shittiest camera possible. There's like dirt on the lens. Obviously, it's full of uncharismatic people, but the timing is perfect.
It's insane. Um,
Did I share my thoughts on this in this video game? I like it a lot. I mean, it's definitely hard. That's why I was using the save states and rewinds. Um, I don't really have the patience right now to like start at the beginning of the level and try from the start. So one of the things is a lot of the enemies are very repetitive in this game. I think they reuse a lot of enemies a lot. The bosses are really cool. I think the bosses are well done. I love the environments. I love the pixel art and the some of the backgrounds are actually really beautiful for the limited color palette. And it definitely has its own unique battle style. It feels similar to River City Ransom and things like that, but it's got its own flavor, which um, is something I think like the 8-bit AVGN could have. It shouldn't just be Mega Man with some
Right.
Castlevania painted over it. It needs to have its own flavor, and I think this has its own flavor. And it's a great modern NES game. I think not a
Did you beat it?
masterpiece, but it's good.
Did you beat it?
No, I just paused it because I'm done.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. Well, we're done too. All right. Yeah, let's get some sleep, and we'll all have jobs that we love by the end of the week.
All right, have a good night. And Saturday will be Dark Souls again. Dark Souls at 9:30, and we'll return to Earthbound. And I might have another stream this week, but just keep an eye out. Just keep an eye out. And until next time, guys. Bye.
Bye.